My name is Declan, and I went to Hudson Way Immersion School from pre-K through fifth grade. Now I am an eighth grader at Newark Academy. So, reason why I took French is because when I took the placement test for Spanish to see what level I was at, I would be with the 11th graders. So I was so advanced, I decided to pick up another language. When I went to Worlds before the pandemic, for like the first year, um, there were robotics team from all over the world, right? And I think we were paired with a couple of Spanish teams for some of the competitions. I won't go into details there, but it was very helpful to be able to talk to them in Spanish, and really, like we were like a pretty well performing team, and you have to coordinate and share when you have two different robots, and you have to have the two drivers communicating. So that was really helpful.
Hi, my name is Nico Fonseca. Next year I will be a sophomore at Morristown Baird. I took Spanish at Hudson Way Immersion School. I started around 10 years ago when I was 4 and stayed at Hudson Way learning Spanish until I graduated in 5th grade. So my experience at Hudson Way was amazing. We learned, I think it was 75% Spanish and 25 English, which gave me enough experience to be a fluent Spanish speaker, which I further developed, pursuing it throughout middle school and high school at Morristown Baird. Junior year and sophomore year, I'm going to be taking Hereditary Spanish. It's a new class they added starting next year, which is only heritage Spanish speakers. So it'll be me and 4 other people who are also fluent Spanish speakers by culture. Well, I think experience I've already had with it is my dad is a contractor. He hires a lot of Latin American workers, and I'm able to speak to all of them in Spanish, and that could help me in future jobs by being able to speak to more people than the person who would only speak English would be able to, and also it would look very good, like not only for colleges but for jobs in the future, and traveling the world, meeting new people, and experiencing new things.
I'm Ranjalo. I just graduated from Hudson Way. Now I'm Bronx Science, so I'm a freshman year at Bronx Science. I came to Hudson Way in 6th grade. I didn't know a single word of Mandarin, but I did adjust, and it's a very good school, and I learned a lot from. It was a really good experience, and I think I definitely wouldn't have gotten into Bronx Science, and I don't think I would have been the person I am today without Bronx Science. So, in a large class size, the teachers, they're dealing with 35 kids, and you're only one of them. And then the next period, they have another 35 kids. You're just like a statistic to them, right? So, in a smaller class size where the teachers are dealing with the same kids every single day, I can't help but feel like I developed a connection with my teachers that I definitely have not developed in Bronx Science, because I was able to interact with my teacher a lot more. I was able to get more specialized education. Sometimes we had this high school math. Instead of doing regular 8th grade math, our teacher realized that we were more advanced than that. So she gave us some high school math, and we worked through that together. And I think that has definitely helped me with high school, and especially with Bronx Science. And I think just going to Bronx Science and realizing that I can't talk to my teachers, and have a more specialized education really made me appreciate a lot more what I had at Hudson Way.
I was at Bilingual Buds from 2006 to 2013. I was in the immersion program for Chinese, and since then I kept studying Chinese at school, and in the fall I'll be starting at the University of Vermont, majoring in Chinese. I always looked forward to going to my Chinese class because I genuinely enjoyed learning. It was a different experience that none of my other friends in school had. And I think Chinese will help with my professional future because so much of the world speaks Chinese, and it opens up different kinds of job opportunities that I wouldn't have otherwise. Considering doing something with foreign service, which without Chinese would likely not be possible for me.
So I started studying Chinese at Hudson Way when I was 2.5 years old and immediately loved it. And then after I left Hudson Way, continued to study it all throughout middle school. And then I actually thought about quitting in high school just because I never saw a practical application for it. Living in New Jersey, I never got a lot of opportunity to practice. But then an opportunity came along for me to study abroad in Beijing my sophomore year in high school. And I went, and I was so happy that I didn't give up my Mandarin, because when I got there, I was so much more prepared than some of my friends who spoke no Mandarin, and I kind of was able to help them. And although it was really scary for me, definitely the first couple of weeks, I was able to acclimate to it a little bit quicker and help my peers, and definitely get a lot out of the experience just by speaking the language. I could learn so much more about the culture and history just by kind of understanding the nuances that come with learning the language as well. Okay, so this fall I'll be going to George Washington University, and I'll be studying international affairs and possibly a double major in finance or international business. Well, I think China is one of the global superpowers for sure these days, so I think it's important to speak that language, understand that culture, and hopefully whether I decide to go into private sector or public sector work, I think it will definitely be very important to make deals with China, whether that's through business or policy and global security, things